Today we're going over 5 eBay sales where I made over $1,000 profit on each so that you can find them for yourself too. And we're also going over the 3 principles you need to establish in your eBay business to consistently make $1,000 profit on every single eBay sale. My name is Max. I've sold over $500,000 worth of stuff on eBay, and I'm consistently selling items for $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 because it's a lot easier than selling a bunch of $20 items. Let's start off with the 3 principles that you need to establish in your eBay business in order to make over $1,000 on each sale. Principle number 1, unfortunately, is an obvious one. It is impossible to make $1,000 on a flip if you're selling items for less than $1,000. You need to raise your average sales price in your eBay business to make more money on each sale. And ultimately, this needs to change how you source your inventory. It is very difficult to find $1,000 items at thrift stores, garage sales, and flea markets. If you're sourcing in person, you need to be able to buy lots of volume in order to make decent money. Personally, I'm in the quality business. I would much rather sell one $3,000 item than 30 $100 items. Why? Because it takes the same amount of time to list a $3,000 item as it does a $30 item. Same amount of time to take photos, same amount of time to write a description, same amount of time to post. The only difference is price and where you're buying these items. So if we're not sourcing in person, we're not going to flea markets, we're not going to thrift stores, we're not going to garage sales, where are we getting our inventory? 99% of my inventory is coming from Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist. This allows you to specifically target the categories with high average sales prices rather than getting lucky and trying to find them in person. When you are on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist, you can exactly type in what you want to buy, make offers, and source those items versus trying to find them in person. Let's go on to the second principle. The second principle, sell-through rate is the only metric on eBay that matters. Sell-through rate essentially tells you the supply and the demand of each and every single item on eBay. If you are buying items that have more listed than sold, you are not an eBay seller, you are an eBay storer. I will repeat that again. If you are in the business of buying items that have more listed than sold, you are not running this business properly. You need to be finding items that have more sold than listed items on eBay in order to scale your business faster. My main goal with this business is to move my money as fast as possible. I want to turn $100 into $200 as quickly as I can, and I want to turn $1,000 into $2,000 as quickly as I can, which allows me to buy more of that inventory to scale faster. And the only thing that does that is sell-through rate. When we start to focus on sell-through rate, it allows us to scale faster. It is inherently easier to turn $1,000 into $2,000 than it is $100 into $2,000. Spending money to make money does help you in this business. An example of an item that has more sold than listed is a Ford Charge Station Pro. This is an EV charger that Ford makes for all their fancy cars and trucks. And when you can find it new in the box, they sell for around $800. Now, this is not an item that we sell for over $1,000, but if you're trying to scale where you can spend $1,000 on an item to turn it into $2,000, this is a great item to help you get there. Currently, right now on eBay, there are 23 active listings with 135 sold. That means there's more than one selling every single day, and there's over 5 sold for every single one listed. This means that your item will typically sell within less than a week if you're properly pricing it and promoting your listings. The main goal in this business is to find items like this and source them over and over and over again on Facebook Marketplace. The third principle that helps you get to $1,000 profit per each sale is there's absolutely no reason why you should not be shipping freight in your eBay business. My main goal with this channel is to make all of this information as accessible as possible, which is why I taught you how to freight ship for free. There's an entire playlist on my channel showing you how to get the quotes, how to package it, and how to coordinate with these shippers and on eBay. The bigger the item, it often comes with a bigger price tag. Freight shipping opens up so many doors to these higher ticket items. I would personally much rather sell one $5,000 Wolf Range than sell 50 $100 pairs of shoes. On top of this, freight shipping and a higher average sales price reaches a higher quality level of buyer. I recently sold this Thermador range on eBay for $5,200. The buyer purchased it without asking me a single question. Previously, when I was selling items for $20 to $40, I would be bombarded with crappy questions about measurements and size and color. That does not happen with a high average sales price. These are high quality buyers who just click the buy button. The more expensive your item is, the higher quality the buyer. So to recap the 3 principles. Number 1, you need to be sourcing online rather than in person if you are trying to get $1,000 profits consistently in your eBay business. It is much easier to target these expensive items online than it is to get lucky and try to find them in person. Number 2, you should only be focusing on sell-through rate in your business. That's the only thing that matters. If you're buying items that have more listed than sold, you're not doing this properly. You need to only target items that have more sold than listed. And number 3, you need to be freight shipping if you want to make $1,000 profit consistently. These bigger items, they're really easy to get them cheap locally, and they're really difficult to ship and do the logistics, which is why people don't deal with it. But if you can take the time to learn and build a logistics ladder to help you get there, such as movers and a great freight carrier, you can make a lot of money shipping freight on eBay. So let's get into the 5 flips that I have made where I've made over $1,000 on each so that you can find them for yourself. And only 2 of them will require freight shipping. So the other 3 you can put in a box. Number 1, which I sold earlier this month, is a PEMF Evo PEMF mat. I am a huge fan of flipping PEMF mats. They have come with a very high average sales price as well as a high quality buyer. These are often buyers who want to pay top dollar for something that will make their bodies feel better, which is ultimately what these PEMF mats do. I paid $2,200 for this PEMF mat locally. It was listed on Facebook Marketplace for $3,200. I offered $2,200 cash and I could pick up whenever they wanted. The seller accepted it because people who are selling expensive stuff often have a lot of money, and one of their main priorities is convenience rather than getting top dollar. That's another huge benefit of raising your average sales price is you deal with higher quality sellers when you're buying inventory. So like I said, I bought that for $2,200 and it sold for $4,300. After fees, shipping, promoted listing, advertising fees, I made $1,331 on that flip, and it took 3 hours of work between driving to pick it up, listing it, and shipping it. A higher average sales price means a higher hourly rate. Again, it takes the same amount of time to list something for $30. It takes the same amount of time to list something for $3,000, and often the same amount of time to ship this stuff as well. You might as well be shipping and selling the expensive stuff. Sale number 2, where I made over $1,000, was a radio detection RD8200 with a TX10 transmitter. Now, you do not need to know what this is. You just need to know that it works. This is a utility locator. When you call 411 for them to come dig holes, a guy shows up and uses this tool to find the pipes, utility lines underneath the ground so that you do not hit them when you're digging. Now, these are incredibly expensive pieces of equipment because they use some sort of technology to find these little pipes and lines underneath the ground. I don't know how it works, but I do know that they sell great on eBay. I paid $1,000 for mine. It was listed on Facebook Marketplace for $1,500. I offered $1,000 cash. The seller accepted, and within 2 weeks, it sold on eBay for $3,600. That left me a total profit after fees and shipping of $1,640. Pretty freaking awesome for an item that fits in a box. And yes, with both of these items and all of the items on this list, I'm spending over $1,000 to acquire them. I did not always have thousands of dollars to spend on inventory. I sold a ton of items like that Ford Charge Station Pro we discussed about earlier in order to get to this place where I have money to spend on inventory. This is the long game, but we want to get there as quickly as possible, which is why we focus on high sell-through rate stuff. Third flip where I made over $1,000 on. This also fit in a box, and it's a piece of restaurant equipment. I made an entire video about this, but we'll break it down really quickly. I bought and sold a Perfect Fry PFC 570. Now, this is something that you use to heat up stuff really quickly, make fries, mozzarella sticks, whatever at concession stands. Well, I paid $1,500 for it from a seller off of Facebook Marketplace. They had it listed for $4,000. Like I say all the time, please just make offers. The worst thing a seller on Facebook Marketplace can say is no. And if they say no, you say, okay, no problem, and you move on. But when you make offers and they say yes, this is when you can open yourself up doors to make $2,932, which is what I made on this sale. Again, I paid $1,500 for it cash off of Facebook Marketplace. It sold on eBay for $6,000. There's over $1,000 in fees, and shipping was $540. I paid a local pack and ship company to professionally package it for me, as well as I bought a label with lots of insurance. So that's why shipping was so high. If I packaged it myself, it would have been a lot cheaper. But again, $2,932 is no bad day in the office for flipping one item. This whole process probably took me 5 hours. Hourly rate, well over $500. Again, can't reiterate this enough. It takes the same amount of time to do the high average sales price items as it does the low average sales price items, and often a lot less headaches. Now I want to break down a couple items that required freight shipping, as well as ones that I sold outside of eBay. I have a local connection with a appliance store who sells me all of their Wolf ranges that they get in stock. They do not have the clientele that buys all of these. I do. And ultimately, I work with Wolf refurbishers to sell these ranges to them. I paid $1,000 for the 60-inch Wolf range, and the appliance company came by and dropped it off at my shop. With that being said, I sell these to refurbishers. So all I had to do was take pictures of it, send it to my refurbisher, and name my price. That price that I named was $4,000 plus shipping. Well, I got it sold for $4,000 plus shipping to my connection who refurbishes these and then goes out and sells it for a whole lot more. They're probably selling this for $12,000. But with that sale, and from having two connections from running this business for a long time, I was able to make myself $2,856. And I made a whole breakdown on how I did this whole process in the video. We'll put the thumbnail up here. Be sure to watch it. Next sale, we spoke about this one earlier. This is the Thermador range. I also purchased this from a local connection, same appliance store. I had this for less than a week before it sold on eBay for $5,200. I paid $1,500 for it. After fees and shipping, I made $2,463 on it. And this required freight shipping. It is not that hard. You put this thing on a pallet, you wrap it up, you build a crate, and the freight company comes by, scoops it up, and puts it in their truck. Freight shipping is not as difficult as people want you to think it is. It is easy once you do it once or twice. And I've made videos discussing how to do this. Between those two freight shipment sales, I made $5,400 between those two sales. And again, these do not take a lot of time. The freight shipments take a little bit more, but this is a process that is doable and learnable. It is not rocket science. I will hold your hand through this process personally. If you want more information, join Master Marketplace. It is the first link in the description. We send you deals. We help you out. We make sure you are a profitable Facebook Marketplace to eBay flipper. So with that being said, raise your average sales price, focus on high sell-through rate items, and ship freight. And you can consistently make $1,000 on every single eBay sale as long as you are selective. I'll see you next week. Peace.